Hello everybody. Now listen, if you've got a bit of cash to park or you don't know what to do with a bit of capital, heads up, this might be something worth noting for you. In fact, I'm sure it will be. We're very confident this will appeal to many private individuals, and timing is very important. The world stock markets have become less and less predictable due to geopolitical issues and sanctions, and the information you'd normally use to base your investment decisions is not as reliable as it once was. Plus the fact that we've got an almost daily issuance of executive summaries coming out from the most powerful country in the world, which changes the strategies we might be relying on anyway. So it's very important at the moment to try and find something which isn't as exposed to daily volatility as possible. That's where we come in. My company IPO Direct, www.ipo-direct.com, is one of the world leaders in private equity. We help take companies to market, to the stock exchange for the very first time, and we've been around quite some time. Now, we've recently re-registered the company in London if you want to take a look online, but it's registered in several other jurisdictions as well. We've had the same website for 11 years, and I've been running the company for longer than that. Now, currently, if you stop and think for a minute about what's happening in the world, currently banks are paying between 1.5 and 6% for a fixed deposit, depending on your jurisdiction, i.e. your country, and how much you pledge, how much you deposit, of course. The bigger the deposit, the higher the result. And some of them have got lock-in periods, but 1.5 to 6%, and it really isn't a lot, is it? Let me explain what happens. With that money that you put into the banks and the banking system, they then put that money to work for themselves. Okay, we call it other people's money, OPM. The banks call it opium. All right, it's like a drug to them. They then step into projects with their analysts and researchers, and they've obviously found some great opportunities in the global markets, especially in emerging markets such as the BRICS countries, BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Korea. And that quotation is getting a little bit outdated now because they're not so much emerging as emerged, and billions and trillions have actually been made out of those entities. So IPOdirect.com are giving you the information, support and the keys to being your own bank. If you've got a private trust fund, you've got a small business, you're a mom and pop operation, whoever you are, I'd really like to help you and work with you, because right now putting money to work is going to be one of the very best ways to minimize tax and maximize gain, maximize profits. Okay, the world is changing fast. Nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow, but one thing's for sure, as the old rules say, there's two inevitables: taxes and death. Now, we can't do anything about the second one, but we can certainly help you with the first one. So we can help you with an offshore bank account, we can help you with your taxes, and we can also provide you with some fantastic opportunities in private equity. Equity being you have a piece of the action, that's your equity, like you'd have in a house, equity. And that's what everyone's striving for, isn't it? To be property owners. So you own the equity in the property, all right, not the bank. The equity is normally what you would borrow against. The difference between what you owe and what the property might be valued at, for example, might be the hypothetical equity, and you might be able to borrow a percentage of that equity. However, if you own your own equity and you've got shares in a specific company or a piece of the equity in a specific private company, that is stable, okay? We're totally confident that you'll not find many other deals of this caliber. The reason we're doing this is because something's come across my desk which I want to release to the general public. Right? There's a life-changing offer here. It's new to market. It's a private equity. Now, some people might understand these as pre-IPOs, i.e. a pre-IPO is something which is offered before market initial public offering. So initial public offering is when a company goes to the stock exchange for the very first time. Looking back to the noughties and the 90s, we can all remember when Microsoft and all these other big companies, Alibaba's, all listed on the stock exchange and billions were made. Well, you can have a piece of the action. Okay, we've got a great private equity company coming up now, which is going to be released April 2026. So the investor pack is already available. Now, have a look at it. I'm going to suggest you take a look at this if you really want to get stuck in. It's a North American food protein provider already delivering profits with a strong future and globally registered intellectual property. It's got two very, very strong tech points, which are intellectual property, very well valued. And in actual fact, I think the valuation of them is nearly as much as the company itself. IP, or intellectual property, is something everyone needs to look at when they're looking at brands, especially. For example, intellectual property such as the Coca-Cola brand, they don't know how to actually value it as far as I'm aware. Last time I spoke to a banker, they said Coca-Cola and some of these other huge brands are almost insurmountable. They're almost impossible to value because they're increasing in value. I believe there's a product sold every second. Now this company has come across my desk. We want to build our company based on this trade. That's how important it is to us. You can have a piece of the action. I'll repeat again, North American food protein provider. They've got two pieces of tech which have taken the bitterness and the bad taste out of soy, and they've replaced it with new technology to make the food extremely valuable in today's market of health conscious label readers. And if you walk around a supermarket, mums and dads all are now reading labels. We do, my wife does. You've got to. I understand now there's even 3D printed meat. I mean, talk about change. So health and ethical food products are very important. Now this company, I can't give you the name until you sign an NDA. The company is being offered at $1 Canadian a share right now, but by the end of April it will already be up to $1.24 based on the value increase. So when you get involved in a private equity company, you put your money in, it's locked in for you. It might be 1, 2 or 3 years, it depends, but certainly very unlikely to be much longer than that. And in the meantime, there's opportunities all the way. The money goes in, and as the company develops and grows, which this will, it's already delivering a profit. As that money develops, your money's not subject to share drops or share price increases other than the intrinsic value of the company. So it's not subject to market fluctuations, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing if you want to park some cash. You put it there, you know it's safe, you know it's happy. All the money goes directly to the company, it does not go to us. And one thing for sure at the moment is this particular aspect of food is an area which is also being applied to animal feed, ethical whole meal animal feed. Okay, it's not GM modified, it's got no nasties behind it. It's a very, very old company and it's looking to expand considerably. There's a $330 million contract standing there waiting for this one to go. And we're looking for some very select private individuals to come on board. Minimum trades, there are none, but we're suggesting 50K as a starter. If you can get close to that, fine. If you can't, that's fine as well. But just let us know what you can do. Apply to info@ipodirect.com, info@ipo-direct.com for a investor pack, and it'll be emailed out to you within 24 hours. I guarantee that.